What are we calling the show this year?
This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Patriots Chinwag, Patriots Before the Game Show.
Jones, he's throwing it toward Thornton, left corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown New England.
Hey, it's the Patriots.
The Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the latest news and information before every game.
He took it to the house again.
Here we
the
go.
Patriots take the lead.
With Hardy,
Question number 5. Does this look infected?
Mike Dussault,
You have a cold, Deuce?
Just a little bit. I'm okay. All right. Don't worry about me.
Paul Perillo,
5 for 150. Jonnu Smith is in the end zone.
I mean,
Pile it on. Good.
and Tamara Brown.
Paul is like describing girl math. And if you haven't seen this on TikTok, that is girl math.
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
I can't wait. I find the phrase girl math to be offensive. And at this point, I'd like an apology from both Tamara and Paul Perillo.
yeah, Paul.
What do I have to apologize for?
Because you were doing girl math, and
How dare you.
Tamara made it a
So-
thing.
I was doing math, and someone else described it as such. I don't
Okay.
even know what that means.
Tamara, you need to apologize.
Girl math is in no way offensive. It's a win-win for everybody.
Welcome into Patriots Pregame, fueled by Dunkin. Hardy, Tamara, Paul Perillo, Mike Dussault. As the Patriots, 1-5 on the season,
Let's not talk about that.
are prepared to host the Buffalo Bills, who are 4-2. By the way,
I was just going to say, Hardy, you know how you like to announce the scores backwards?
Yeah.
Maybe if you start announcing the record backwards, it won't seem so bad.
With 2 losses and 5 wins.
I'm
With a record of
I'm
5
trying
losses
to think,
and 1 win.
I'm trying to think of how to make 1 and 5 good using girl math, and it's hard.
Well-
not even girl math can make that work. I don't think.
it's not like they've lost every game.
Okay.
How's that?
They also haven't played in silver pants, so using
ready.
girl math.
If
Tamara
we
might be
don't
right.
talk about the
Ergo.
silver pants again today, that would be okay with me.
I have on silver pants too.
Okay.
So
I
does
have jeans
Juice.
on.
Shiny.
Um,
No chinos?
No chinos.
here's a little tidbit.
Yeah.
Since the departure of Tom Brady, which I've been told multiple times over the last couple of weeks has nothing to do with the genius of Bill Belichick. Don't get that screwed up in your head.
Yeah.
He's great,
Yeah.
with or without Tom Brady. Since Tom Brady left,
Oh.
the Patriots are 1-6 against the Buffalo Bills.
That
Correct.
sounds about right.
Today, the Patriots could be 1-6 on the season after another meeting with the Buffalo Bills. So,
Or
just
6-1 if you put losses first, which, you know,
Right.
they're 6-1
Right.
losses to wins.
So, and as we get into the show here, we're going to go behind enemy lines. Steve Tasker from the Buffalo Bills, and we'll do the over-unders and the things and the keys of the game. Bill Belichick, according to one report, signed a lucrative multi-year extension before the start of the season.
And
So-
you see the tweet right there. I
it
think
is.
we have. I think Matt has audio for that too. If we want to play that.
Oh, I'd love to hear this from Ian Rappaport.
The Patriots struggling as they really never have. Bill Belichick's job security has somehow been a topic in New England. As you just heard, would Robert Kraft make a move mid-season? Would he make a move at all? Now, my understanding is we'll be not inclined to make a move mid-season, but allow me to add some news. Sources say Bill Belichick, during the offseason, quietly agreed to terms on a lucrative multi-year new contract. His contract, one of the most closely held secrets in New England. That said, I think it's fair to say there was some, at least, uncertainty or intrigue surrounding him. Now, contractually, he is locked up long-term. And Rich, at least, we're going to have the discussion. This at least adds some context with the Patriots committing to the greatest coach in history long-term.
All right, so that was from Ian Rappaport only about less than an hour ago.
Right.
This news coming out. So what do you make of that, Paul?
I don't buy it. I don't believe that the New England Patriots. I don't believe that Robert and Jonathan Kraft have tied themselves to a 70-something-year-old coach long term, to use Ian Rappaport's phrase. I also didn't like, if you listen to like the phraseology at the beginning, somehow people are wondering, somehow after 4 years of sub 500
Mediocrity?
play, people are talking about the possibility of moving on from a 71-year-old coach. It just struck me as very one-sided. I'm not telling you that Bill Belichick's contract is up at the end of the year, because I don't believe that. But I don't believe that he's tied to the Patriots with guaranteed money long term.
For 2 more years after this season?
Long term, however you want to describe long term as.
I would say 3 years to me means long term.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
I don't
cutoff.
know.
That's the bare minimum.
That's straight up front. I have no information on this for myself. I don't know what Bill Belichick's contract status is, but I would find it hard to believe that just this past offseason. So, after 3 years of sort of sub 500 play, they said, now's the time. Let's see if we can extend you. Maybe he has some sort of agreement to move forward. The two sides have agreed to move forward, but I can't imagine it's long term. Like you said, 3-4 years. I can't imagine that.
I agree with Paul, especially with what happened last season and mishandling Mac Jones and the whole Patricia situation, and then sending that email out that changes are going to be made. I couldn't imagine that this was the change that was going to be made. Like, let's sign Bill on for longer. Yeah. You would think this year would be the year where they're kind of like trying to get back on track and hopefully turn a page, but that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just thinking, remember when we were in Arizona and we were listening to Mr. Kraft talk about, Bill and just the upcoming season, and, all of a sudden it was what the expectations were. So I do find it surprising, but, I think the overall point of it doesn't really change all that much to me. Like, unless Bill's contract was magically up at the end of the season, it was probably going to be complicated to get out of it or to get away from him. Like, no matter what. I agree. So I mean, totally agree with the multi-year extension. That's a little bit jarring language, but I still think that I don't think it locks it in stone that no matter what, hell or high water, he's going to be here. And I mean, I still think this season has a lot of impact how these last however many games are going to go.
I have no idea either, obviously, what his actual contract status is, what it says. There are no official releases about it ever, as far as I know. There's never been any official confirmation.
That was the other part. Like, he quietly agreed. Well, when has that ever not been the case? No one ever knows anything about Bill Belichick's contract. Like, it just seemed like it was really trying hard to go out of the way to sort of send a message to somebody. I don't know what the message.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But what I don't believe is that Robert Kraft decided in August to put pen to paper and to extend Bill Belichick multiple years to continue to be the head coach and general manager in charge of both on-field and personnel decisions off the field for multiple years after this one. I don't believe you.
Signed it and did what you. That's it.
I don't.
Drop the pen.
How?
Signed.
How?
It's over.
What? Did Robert Kraft all of a sudden become a tad less crafty? No, I mean, no pun intended, but it's like he's a sharp guy. He understands, many, many things.
Especially,
only somebody who doesn't understand what's going on would do that deal. So I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's hard. I don't.
I mean,
can't.
We don't know. I mean, is it possible Bill was entering the last year of his deal, or maybe even his deal was up last summer? Is that possible? I mean, we don't know anything about it.
Like that could be.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't really believe that he was entering the last year of his deal, but I believe that he might have signed something in the offseason to extent, but I just don't think it's long term.
Yeah. Now
you can get by on semantics on that, because your view of long term or Ian Rappaport's impression of long term might be different than mine.
Before we get to the keys to the game, just one email that has specifically to do with this. This is from Matt in the UK. The unmitigated Bill Belichick hate from Patriot fans needs to stop. Not that the man is immune to criticism. He is, and he should get it when it's due. However, all you now see, especially in the light of the news that he has signed a long extension in the offseason, is how much people hate Bill and want him gone. I understand the GM portion, however, not the coach, never the coach Bill Belichick. And why is that exactly? That you can't be displeased or want the current coach, the coach who's been here for the last 3 years, to no longer coach the team? What's the huge opposition to that? And if you say, the last 25 years, Bill Belichick himself walked that back and said, no, that's not what I meant, and no one should ever settle for that. So Bill doesn't agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
And neither should you. Oh, he was so good, 6 Super Bowls. Yes. How? Not lately, this season, last season, the season before. And the season before that, if you want to count how they managed the quarterback position when they knew Tom Brady was out the door after his last season. 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Interesting tweet from Tom Curran that I'm reading now. Ironically, the last time we got a report on Belichick having signed an extension was 2007, as Spygate was unfolding. Perhaps proof that, when it gets stormy, Bill's contract status will be selectively shared.
Zing.
All right. We need to do keys to the game, but before we go behind enemy lines, so let's do it.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now, just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also?
Keys to the game. Without them, the Patriots are doomed and destined to fail. I have the key with me as
There
the
it is.
current and first time ever 2-week key holder. I have the key, and
I thought it was a key master.
Gozer.
You're the gatekeeper.
I'm the gatekeeper.
I'm the key master.
Are you a god?
We start with Tamara. Tamara, what is your key to this week's game?
Wow, putting me on the spot.
That's right.
Mine is don't give the Bills any spending money. You get it, Bills? But anywho, I think that I chose that as my key to the game because I really think that this is a game where the Patriots cannot give the Bills takeaways and not allow them to get points on the board. They already have an explosive offense. They already can move the ball really well. Despite what you saw in the first half of the Giants game, they got it done in the fourth quarter. And so I think that they can't give them any free chances to score, especially when they're already struggling and can't put 30 up on the board against the Bills.
Oof, it's going to be tough, yes. But
Yeah.
yes.
So let's not make it an easy one for them, essentially.
Yeah.
Make them earn every single point.
By the way, another new method for determining the key. It'll be a live roll call vote.
Love it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Okay.
The ayes or
so
nays?
we're
Or
not doing a secret
Real
ballot.
quick, because the timing, I told you before the show, is a little different today. My chin wag has moved up. So I just want to throw mine out there because it won't take very long. It's the same as last week. Run the dang ball. Like, Buffalo is completely decimated in the middle of their defense. Their run defense was really solid over the first month, 4 or 5 weeks of the season, and it's been really bad since Matt Milano and Daquan Jones and those guys have been missing from the middle of the defense. They struggled against the Giants. They struggled against the Jags even more in London 2 weeks ago. I think that's the best formula to keep the Patriots in the game is to run the ball, keep Buffalo's offense on the sideline. That way all the cliches that go along with it, shorten the game, blah, 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 blah. Be physical. Run the ball.
Okay, not bad. I think it works for his second week in a row.
I just admire that he's sticking with it because I think that's a bold choice.
Well, I do think there was some glimmer of signs that they could run the ball in the third quarter last week.
I think it's good. I was almost going to do the same thing because I'm like I might get to the point where I just start banging the same key, like surprise me every week. But this one I was trying to fall asleep one night and it just had it came into me kind of like poetry.
I can't wait to hear this one.
I
now.
thought of Harvey. Start with a stop and a score to see if we can pick ourselves up off the floor. I don't know why. It was kind of hokey, I know, but it came to me, and then Matt asked for him, and I figured it was kind of rhymey. So if I'm punting on the keys this week, fine. But I'm just going to go with that. A good start.
For that, I'm going to kill you. I'm sorry. That was great key, Mike.
It rhymes. It had what do you call it? A rhythm, a pentameter or something like that. What is it?
Iambic
So
pentameter.
I need you to use this in your story, and if the Patriots do happen to win, and they
started with
get
a stop and a
yes,
score.
I need you to put.
And now it looks they might pick themselves up.
Yes.
All right, I know it's silly. I
Could
probably
you do
won't
one
win
in
the
dirty limerick form?
what is
Bill,
that?
Bill has a place in Nantucket. I don't know. Start with that.
Just kick from the 10 and say okay. So yeah,
Win the coin toss and just say.
fudge it. Okay. But
I didn't say
I wanted to go with like surprise me because I feel like again it's like I'm getting frustrated every week that we're watching the same game and they come out and they allow a long drive and maybe they get a stop in the red zone and hold them to a field goal and it's like yay, but it was still a 10-play drive that took up 4 minutes or 6 minutes. So I just would love to see a good start to the game. What does that look like? Get out there, maybe force a 3-and-out, maybe just force a punt. Offense gets on the field. Goes down and, oh my gosh, they score. Maybe a touchdown. I know it's asking a lot, but I just want to see a good start and see what happens. What does that look like? Where does the game go from there? It might go down the tubes again, but just give me a good start, surprise me to start the game, and make me kind of like, ooh, something different today. Like that.
Score
would be
in the
great.
first quarter, score in the
I know,
first drive. Like seriously,
I know it's
no,
crazy.
Deuce,
I know it's crazy, but that's
between that and running the dang ball, I mean, it's like the simplicity is probably the best. I mean, not to crap on yours, Tamara. I went with something I thought equally clever for the Buffalo Bills. Don't put the lotion in the basket, which means don't give the Bills what they want.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why is it lotion?
That's Buffalo.
Oh my!
It's the Silence of the Lambs movie.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
You've never seen
Nope.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, so it's
Morel has never seen Silence of the Lambs either.
I quoted it to you.
Oh, I thought you were shaking your head like no.
Shaking
I
my head in
haven't seen
disgust that she's never seen it.
either. Okay, all right. No,
You love Law and Order. You would love Silence of the
Oh, yeah,
Lambs.
you would definitely love
That
it.
is true.
Yeah, FBI,
like that.
serial
Puts
killer.
the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose. Okay.
There's a victim trapped in a well.
Put the lotion in the basket.
No.
I love that you just keep like doing an impression of it as if it'll suddenly mean something
She's
or be
never
funny
seen
to her.
so she's not going to get it.
I mean, it sounds hilarious, Hardy. I'm going to have to go check it out and wait for this one part where something has to put lotion in a basket. I don't know what that means. But.
I don't know what they're going to want the Patriots to do. Maybe, really, really attack Josh Allen. And then Josh Allen is 6'7", 260. He can run the ball himself. He's, their best offensive threat for multiple reasons. Don't do that. Cover downfield, set the edge, try it that way. Maybe they want them to throw the ball. Then don't do it. Run the ball like Paul said. Try that. And maybe, just maybe, they want the Patriots to defer if they win the toss. Don't do that either. Take the ball, score first, get a stop like Deuce said. It incorporates
You brought it all together.
virtually every key into one.
I like it.
I don't know if it's going to win, but once Paul gets back, we'll vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I give my vote? I think Paul. I like what Paul had to say. Plus, I admire the gumption just to stick with his key and be like, I'm not even moving on.
You know what? It could be a really nice surprise.
Whoa.
It could be a
Almost
nice
Your
surprise
solar
for
pants.
Paul to come back and find a key hanging around his laptop. Tamara, who do you want to vote for? You can vote for yourself.
I like Mike's.
It's up to you, Hardy. What if we have a tie? Who breaks the tie?
Yeah,
We could have Matt Morrell vote.
because actually Paul could vote for somebody else and
Have
and
Matt,
have
Matt
a
Morrell as the
tie.
tiebreaker.
I'm going to vote for Paul. I want him to have the key.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Matt, we need you to vote.
What?
All right, LePan, you have to vote before we go behind enemy lines.
Although I do feel like Paul a little bit lifted Tamara's because I feel like this is kind of Tamara's usually the run the dang.
We'll go with
ball.
Paul.
That's
It
like
is.
your line.
It is usually mine.
Paul is the winner.
We need a pump and
But-
circumstance song when we hand that thing out.
But to me, the takeaways are making me really nervous.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, keys to the game out of the way. Let's go behind enemy lines.
You know the view from New England,
We go behind enemy lines.
but what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest
Yeah.
every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah.
I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
I got it. It's coming right for us.
Steve Tasker, reporter for the Buffalo Bills, at Steve Tasker 89. Steve, I understand you're short on time. I think you can tell us in 5 minutes or less how the Bills are going to win by 30 today. So welcome into the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. We appreciate you being here. Oh, wait a second. There, I got to pull them up myself. I screwed it up. There we go, Steve. Thanks for being with us on the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Well, seriously, the probably the most common refrain this week is the Bills are going to come in here and steamroll the Patriots today. Maybe a bit of a get-right game for the Bills. Patriots haven't been able to put together much so through 6 weeks. How are you looking at today's game?
I'm kind of doubting the 30-point win kind of thing. The Bills have struggled out of the gate early, and the Patriot defense is it's a top 10 defense. The Bills have struggled in half their games this year. They struggled opening night against the Jets. They struggled against Jacksonville in London, and they struggled even though they won the game against the New York Giants. They have really, and it tends to be on the offensive side of the football. Now, certainly their defense is going to show up. They're a little bit depleted up front, with a couple of injuries. Ed Oliver's not going to be in. They lost Daquan Jones, but they've got a pretty good group up there anyway. So their defense will probably play pretty solid. It's easy here to envision this being another game like we've seen the last couple of weeks, a low-scoring win, one-possession game at the end, because the Bills have just been too inconsistent offensively.
Speaking of the offense, Steve, you brought in Dalton Kincaid this year in the first round. I know you've had some injury issues, but what direction have you seen the Bills offense trying to go with those two tight end sets?
Yeah, a lot of 12 personnel. They ran the least amount of 12 personnel in the league last year. Now they're near the top of the league with Dalton Kincaid. Certainly he missed the game with a concussion last week, but fans here in Buffalo are really impatient to see him break out and have the kind of game that would be a 100-yard receiving, get a touchdown. He has yet to reach the end zone. Although he is second on the team in receptions, or at least he was at one time before this last game when he missed. They're getting him the ball a lot, but it's real short stuff. Really haven't used him down the field at all. So the fans are really impatient to see Dalton Kincaid bust out and have the offense maybe center around him a little more than Steph Diggs. Steph Diggs had 12 of the 18 first-half targets against the New York Giants, and people are kind of worried that might be a trend that's easy to stop for a defense.
Defensively, you guys have a veteran secondary. Obviously, you're missing Tre'Davious White, and he's not available for this game. But how do you see them shaking out against Mac Jones? They've seemed to have their way every time they face him.
Well, I think it starts up front for the Bills, but the secondary, for a couple of games this year since Tre'Davious White went down against Miami, Christian Benford has been in and out of the lineup. Dane Jackson has been down. So they're down to their third and fourth starting cornerbacks. Taron Johnson, the nickelback, continues to be an outstanding player for the Bills. So the nickelback has been great. But the two corners, there's no question, they're young. They've struggled at times, and they've been really, really helped by the quality of pass rush. The Bills are, tied for the league lead in sacks, and that has really benefited the guys in the back end. Certainly Hyde and Poyer continue to play really well, although both of them you can start to see signs of, that they're in their mid-30s now, and they don't cover as much ground as they did, but they're still as wily as ever, and they're still very willing to stick their nose in the run game. So the secondary has been really solid, but like I said, some of their success has got to be attributed to the quality of play up front.
Steve, just big picture real quick on the Bills, talking about the age of some of the players. Where do you see the Bills' window right now? You've seen a lot of windows open and close over the years as a player and now as somebody who's still with the team. Where are they? Is the window still wide open? Is it starting to just come down a little bit?
No, I think the window's still really open. I think their defense has really taken a step forward this year. And as long as Josh, and you guys know this, you got the guy pulling the trigger at quarterback, you got a chance in every game. Certainly, I think they are looking for some more weapons to complement Steph Diggs. But Josh Allen gives them a chance in every single game. Every once in a while, a guy puts that cape on, and the other team has no answer. Yeah. So I think their window is open as long as Josh is there and healthy. Steph Diggs is certainly an enormous part of that. Their offensive line is way better than it was a year ago. That has helped as well. Latavius Murray and Damian Harris have added some saltiness to their run game. So they are really a really good football team. When they show up and play, they'll beat anybody. But their inconsistency has been the frustrating part of this.
Yeah.
Some weeks they just get out to a slow start and they have trouble moving the football. But that has more to do with execution than it does, and execution rather than a lack of talent.
Steve, just last one real quick. What's the impact of losing Milano in the middle of that defense?
Well, we were really afraid that was going to gut that defense down the middle, but Dorian Williams getting plugged in and Terrell Bernard, those two guys have been a real pleasant surprise for Bills fans. They are really fast. They are really salty. They love to stick their nose in the run game. The only downside to those two guys is both of them are a little bit undersized. Neither one of them, I think, weighs 230. but they can run and cover. They cover a lot of ground. They are very aggressive. You just worry about a couple things. One, if they get overpowered on a straight-ahead running game, unless they get really good play from the defensive tackles, they're going to get a little overwhelmed once in a while. And also, you guys know when you're a little guy in there with the big boys, durability is a problem. So as long as those two guys stay healthy, they seem to be doing okay because the Bills' offense forces teams not to really lean on a power running game because you got to keep up on the scoreboard.
All right, Steve. Well, if the Bills don't win by 30, what's your final score prediction for the game today?
Oh, I think this is going to be like a 18-15 game, one of those things. I think it's going to be a slog.
Not again.
Oh, God.
I think it's going to be like a 14-11 game. One of those scorigamis. There's too much scar tissue over here in Western New York to think it's going to go any way other than that.
16-12. I like that.
Exactly. It's going to be 11-9.
Steve, great to talk to you. Really, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
All right, guys, take care.
All right, there he goes. Steve Tasker, you can follow him, with the Buffalo Bills website and on Twitter. I believe he is at Steve Tasker89. There we go.
Didn't ask him any special teams questions, too. He was a big special teams guy back in the day
yeah,
when he played.
He was a gunner.
A gunner guy.
Yeah. Do you want to get him back on the phone and ask him some special teams questions?
No, that's okay.
No, me neither. All right, let's get to the phones here. 855-PATS-500, webradio at patriots.com for your electronic mails. Paul's gone for a while.
Wow, this show is really lean and mean right now.
I tell you what, I think it's going to be the best show we ever had.
Me too.
And you, Paul, and Tamara can both take that personally. Let's go to Erica in Virginia. Going to add to the awesomeness that is this Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin. Hi, Erica.
Hello. And Tamara, I'm so glad I got you here. But you broke my heart with not seeing Silence of the Lambs, girl.
She just left the studio. She was so disappointed in herself.
Yeah. We'll pass it along to her.
So anyway.
Hey, Erica, didn't they find Frederica Bimmel in Virginia? Wasn't that where her body was found?
Baby, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that now.
All right, I'll look it up while you ask your question of Deuce. I'm not going to be listening, so good luck, you two.
You're fine. So look, I've been watching some old gameplays, and with Scar being red-coded, I've noticed in the offense, Scar's gone, chop block's gone. Offense is now struggling to do anything, and we start off 1-15 because we like to hold. How do you clean that up? And with that being said, I do believe that we are going to be putting the lotion in the basket. We're going to be rubbing the lotion on the skin, and we're definitely getting the hose again with a 24-10.
Oh, it's a good question, Erica. I mean, and you mentioned like the chop blocks and some of the techniques that they used to use in the past under Scar. I hope we can chat a little bit about that Hall of Fame induction ceremony yesterday, which was pretty fun. But you hope with offensive line play, I always allow some expectations that it's going to be a little bit choppy early on, and but this is, I think, beyond the pale. Would love to maybe get Cole Strange out. I see he's been outside working a little bit early. Maybe a sign that he's going to come back today. We'll see what happens.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it's and then these guys have been in there, but like you said, it hasn't been good enough yet. And I think everybody knows it all starts up front with the offensive line, and whether it's opening holes in the run game for Paul's key, or making sure Max got enough time back there. It's just been a huge key, and it's hard to really unravel things and point blame when you're looking first at the offensive line. So hopefully today they got a huge challenge against this front, and they've gotten a little bit of a break with some of the guys that are out. Sorry, go ahead.
And with Clem, learning underneath Scar, it's really, for me as a fan, a little bit younger, a little bit older fan, it's hard for me to see him in that position, to see him try and teach something that was instilled by him that no longer exists in the game. Like those blocks he can no longer teach. And now we're just racking up holding penalties.
Yeah. Well, this has been the case for a little bit now. So, I mean, they've got to be able to do business as business is being done in the league now. And, it's not too much to expect that Mac Jones shouldn't be, under pressure every other time he drops back.
And, Erica, I'm back. Frederica Bimmel was from Belvedere, Ohio. But as Buffalo Bill was trying to he was trying to weigh her body down. She was found, and then the autopsy was performed in Potter, West Virginia. Not
Right.
Virginia, West Virginia, so
And they
you're
found,
safe. Yeah,
They
you're
found
good.
that butterfly in her mouth, right? That was that one. Yeah.
It looks like a cocoon. Thank you, Erica. A lot of times body comes out of the water, it's got bugs and leaves and stuff in it.
But somehow we were usually on the Jaws autopsy scene, but now we've moved on to the Silence of the Lambs autopsy scene.
There's something in her mouth. Patty and Agawam, cousin Patty, what do you got for us? Oh, it's a Patriots pregame show in case you
Silence
lost
of the
track
Lambs
of what we're
pregame.
doing here. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I come for the football talk, and I stay for the great references
There we
every
go.
week. It's
Excellent.
awesome, guys. And I don't know how you expect me to follow up that call from Erica, because she absolutely friggin' crushed it, you know?
I didn't hear any of it. I was looking up stuff from Silence of the Lambs, but she sounded really good. I mean, I could hear the words.
Yeah.
I didn't process
No,
any
it
of
was
it.
a good question. She
All right,
knows what
good.
she's talking about.
Good.
For sure.
Good.
So I got a point for this season, and question for you guys regarding the report that came out. Deuce, I know you'll remember because you're my age. You know what this season kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the 92 year, where, you know, you had so much hope and expectation going into that year after, you know, an abysmal 1990 and you know, kind of a trending upwards 91. You know, it's just been a kick in the teeth this year. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with Mac, obviously. But the offensive line, I mean, they can't even get the run game going, which is disappointing. It's disheartening because you'd like to see them, you know, dominate like they've always sort of dominated at the line of scrimmage up front. And that's whatever. But anyway, my question regarding Bill. Let's say for poops and giggles that he is signed long term. Could you guys see a scenario where maybe like a team like the Chargers that has, for all intents and purposes, they're a good coach away from becoming a championship contender, possibly trading Bill, like if he would go along with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. And certainly, you know, I find myself, I didn't really think about it when we were talking about it at the top, but if you get him under contract and then you've got it kind of set in stone, you trade him, it's in place. I don't know if it works the same way as players
I was
work.
just thinking the exact same thing, Deuce.
Yeah.
Is the same hold true for a coach as it would for a player. He's under contract for 3 more years. Could you then trade him to a team, and that team would be forced to honor that same contract?
I'm going to say no. My instinct is that it's not the same as a player under contract. I could be wrong, but just my instinct is that, you know, it's like if you were working wherever you're working, you get traded. Like, you can't carry the contract over to
CBA
another
cover
thing.
coaches at all?
It's a good question. Probably someone out there, one of the listeners, Paul would probably know. He's got encyclopedic knowledge of all this kind of things.
Yeah, but it's interesting, Pat. We've kind of talked about that, and it's been bandied about a bit. Yeah, there are a few teams who I think would probably be interested in having Belichick come over. I think it's a team that is got pieces in place, has a quarterback in place. They're just looking to get over the hump in a very short window, and you bring him in.
It just sounds so easy on paper. Oh, just bring in, you know, the greatest coach of all time, and he'll just head coach us, right? But there's just so much more that goes with Bill in terms of control of the program and what he wants to install top to bottom. That, you know, I was talking about it this week. Like, it's not just as easy as the Chargers just trade for Bill Belichick. He's their head coach, and they've got a GM, and, you know, he just kind of handles the football part of it. Like, he's going to want control of everything, and he's going to want to change a lot of things. And it's not just slide him right in, everything stays the same, and all of a sudden you got a great coach making great decisions. I think it's a lot more complicated than that.
All right, thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
Got it, guys.
All right, see you. Let's go to Todd in Gardner, North Carolina. Patriots pregame show fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Todd?
You guys look kind of handsome. I can see on the YouTube stream, but you're both wearing dark clothes, so it's like you're going to a mourning. And I kind of think that might.
It's not black, it's blue. Come on, Todd.
Yeah, we're both wearing Patriots.
Called wakes in America.
Patriots blue. You know?
Oh, okay. Hey, thanks, man. No, my question is, and I was listening to Mooch in the morning game day, and he's talking about how Kansas City won the Super Bowl with 10 rookies on defense and stuff like that. Does Bill have a problem trusting his rookies and getting them in there? Like, and has he lost enough of his surrounding guys to help him get the talent that he used to? Because his last free agency picks just weren't as good as his early ones, where he's picking up Randy Moss, Wes Welker, people like that. It just seems like he's missing something, and this is why the team is the way it is. That there's no chemistry in the GM coaching area. Does that make sense?
That one, I get what he's getting at, but I also think like this year, Gonzalez, White, Mapu, Ryland, So, Mafi, Behringer, Douglas. That's 8 guys that have all played. They lost speed this week. Bolden got knocked out. So this year they've had an opportunity to play some of those guys. So I think we're at the point now where it's all about getting as much play time for those guys. I think, too, we talk about Marty Mapu, which I don't think really got talked about enough this week. I think he's a guy that should play a lot today. Didn't really play at all. I didn't play any defensive snaps, but talk about a guy bringing in to deal with Josh Allen. This guy gives you something new that you haven't had before. I'd like to see him play a lot.
Yeah, and Todd, Randy Moss, picking up Randy Moss, it was going to be helpful to any team who had a quarterback who could throw a football.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Brady was able to utilize him, and that was, a dynamic regular season. Wes Welker, he was a great add to the team because he had Tom Brady here.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady was able to make the most out of a player like him or Julian Edelman, who was literally nobody wanted. He was a guy that, you said, okay, quarterback, Kent State, let's make you a wide receiver and see how that works. How are you going to do that? Well, this guy's going to be throwing you the football.
Yeah.
Wherever you need it, as quickly as you need it, and in really, really tight windows. So some of those either free agency or acquisitions or undrafted guys, they worked from an offensive skill set because of who was already here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's 2 different cases too, just in terms of, and you're right. The free agents, I think everybody now looks at 2021 and is like, there were a couple good things, but I just think it's hard to really go out in free agency and try to acquire star players to really be foundational pieces. And I think if you go back to 2001, it wasn't so much that. They had a huge free agency class, but it was more about, I think, filling in little holes in the middle. And, you bring in a guy like, let's bring up Mike Vrabel, who went into the Hall of Fame yesterday as, was the 3rd pass rusher in Pittsburgh, wants an opportunity to start, comes here and, really ends up blossoming. I don't think we've seen really that kind of player from 2021. Judon played a bigger role in Baltimore than Vrabel ever did in Pittsburgh. But I look at those 2 seasons in free agency, and as we're looking maybe to next year and cap space and all those things, it's it's hard to go out and get the stars and make you can maybe get one, but usually, like you said, Hardy, it was you give up a pick for Wes Welker, and they I think he was a restricted free agent the way they worked that one, and Edelman developed, and Gronk was a shot with his back, so those things didn't happen 2015, 2016, 2017. You didn't find those players, and as Gronk started to break down, as Edelman started to break down, that's when the cracks really started, and even Brady at that point was struggling to keep it all together.
All right, let's go to Kendall. Kendall Roy, North Carolina. Another North Carolina call. How about that?
The oldest son.
Yes,
Hey,
the eldest. What's going on, Kendall?
Hey, Kendall.
Yeah, I got a question. With the news coming out of with Bill this morning about the lucrative contract, long term, what is y'all definite? What y'all think the long term is? 2 to 3 more years, maybe 5 to 7? And the second part of that question is, with what would it take? I know it'd be probably hard for Kraft to buy that contract out or whatnot, but what do you think will it take? Probably a total collapse of the season for Bill just to still get fired after the season?
Well, 2 things, Kendall. Number one, you have to believe the report. And it's just, it's Ian Rappaport, he said sources tell him that Bill signed a lucrative multi-year extension before the start of the season. Now, based on what the Patriots owner said at the end of last season about things needing to change and all this, you have to, number one, make yourself believe that the owner would enter into an agreement like that. I have trouble believing it. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't have some kind of deal in place, but is it an ironclad 3-year extension? You're going to owe me $75 million if you try and cut me now or even after the end of the season. Yeah. Kendall, I simply don't believe it. I don't believe that. And as Paul Perillo pointed out, he goes, I don't believe you do that for any 71-year-old coach. It just doesn't make any sense. But, if it is, in fact, the case, you can buy your way out of it. And they get a lot of money. And if it goes that bad, they will. or they should.
Okay, and my second part of that question, I got one more question. Do you think USC has start trading off some guys before the trade deadline to get some picks for next year?
Oh, what do you think, Deuce?
I mean, they can try. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of 5 guys from the Patriots. I mean, maybe a couple, maybe. I mean, we'll see how the next couple weeks go against Buffalo and Miami if they show any ability to kind of find any kind of stride. But I think there were reports today. Mike Reese always is has his Sunday notes, and he mentioned a few names, Uche, but Uche's banged up right now. He mentioned Barmore, who's been coming on really, I think, the last few weeks, but still has, hasn't quite reached that level I think we all wanted. Duggar, Onwenu, Bourne maybe. I mean, it just stinks because I think everybody wanted Bourne, to finally do what he did last week. He got 10 catches. He's in the slot. He's active. He's breaking tackles. Probably his best game as a Patriot. And, to see him all of a sudden start to find his stride and then you trade him, that would be a little bit disappointing. But I don't know. I think there'll be plenty of time the next couple of weeks to talk about this stuff, depending on today's result and next week.
I think the worst case scenario for this team is to mess around and win 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
top 10 picks.
I know. No, it's you're in the middle and trying to fight those tough decisions to make.
Appreciate the call. Thanks, Kendall.
I was just going to say, Hardy, too, it's interesting, and I know that, we all kind of look to Bill for how Brady was handled at the end, where he's getting old and they don't want to give him a long-term deal because they don't know what they can count on him. And now, it's kind of the exact opposite based on this report, that all of a sudden somebody that is at the end and, we're giving them a long-term extension. It's like, why couldn't we have done that with Tom Brady? You could have just given him that. Where's that long-term extension all of a sudden? But I digress. Yeah.
Because one guy was calling the shot on that, and they could have. And I think the owner probably wanted to. He got talked out of it. I don't know how, as an owner, you look at this situation and say, the guy who has done this so far this season, what is supposed to be a turnaround, we're going to prove to everybody we're doing things differently around here, off to a 1-5 start, embarrassing.
Yeah.
Loss at home. One of the worst in franchise history.
The worst.
The worst. And then you remind yourself, this is the same guy who convinced me to let this quarterback, who I thought of as like another son, walk out the door and go win a Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay freaking Buccaneers in his first shot at it away from here. This is the same guy you're now going to turn around and sign to a long-term lucrative extension? I don't believe it.
No, it goes.
I don't believe it.
It goes against the narrative for sure. And I mean, this is one of those things again where, how much does it really change though? If they really wanted to move on from Bill Belichick, it would be complicated. Unless his contract was up at the end of this year and he was in the last year of his deal and he was already okay with that, there was going to be some kind of financial complication regardless if you were looking to get away from it. But we'll just have to see how these next few games go. Maybe they show a little something, maybe not.
All right, let's get to some of these emails here, webradio@patriots.com. We got, Stefan in Germany. Bill Belichick without TB12 is below 500. I've heard that.
Yeah, true.
As long as I can remember, Bill got out-coached maybe once a season. Last couple of seasons, we hear him saying got out-coached every other post-game press conference. I would love to see Bill get the all-time win record, but I'm afraid he just can't get over himself, and the longtime voice of reason in his ear, Ernie Adams, is no longer here. Makes me wonder what percentage of Bill's genius came from his partnership with Ernie Adams.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Or, look, there's been a lot. I mean, I think it's valid. Even yesterday, we're kind of ragging on Bill right now, but he was awesome yesterday at the Hall of Fame ceremony. And hilarious in a way that I've never seen Bill Belichick be hilarious. Some great zingers at Matt Light, some great stories about Dante Scarnecchia. It's just a little glimpse behind the curtain of, what real Bill is like when he's not trying to focus on a football team and get them to perform. So I did enjoy that part of it, but it's hard to get around the results and everything he said about not feeling like this is a well-coached team right now, not feeling like this is a team that, at least to this point, has strapped down and said, we got to turn this thing around with some really great play. And you can feel it right from the get-go. Kind of goes back to my key. After last week when it felt like we're resetting, to come out and start the game with penalties and allowing long drives and the same things that we've been doing. Like, it's just, I think it's not surprising everybody's getting frustrated watching this same kind of game unfold where a team can't get out of their way. They don't look ready to go right from the get-go. Even when they somehow find a chance at the end to keep it close, they don't really have that killer mentality to come back and, put any kind of pressure on the other team at the end to have to produce. At some point, they're going to have something different happen, and we'll see. I don't know. I still hold a little bit of hope out. Maybe it's just from that Hall of Fame ceremony yesterday, which was just awesome. I just really enjoyed watching Vrabel and Skarnecchia. It was fun.
So because Mike Vrabel and Dante Skarnecchia got into the Patriots Hall of Fame, you think they might be able to beat the Bills today?
No.
I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to do with that.
No. It's just basically I had a nice Patriots day yesterday, reminiscing about the history, and I was like, man, this was fun. Oh God, how great it was. And then I came in here today, and I'm just like, it's all right. It's 0-0 still. I don't want to hear any negativity. Let's just go into this game and kind of like with the fingers in the ears, like la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. I just let me see it unfold. But yeah, it was great. They did a great job yesterday. Mike Vrabel is just one of my all-time favorite Patriots. Just such a ball buster. Well, great stories about him doing that. I love the guy.
The players and a lot of the coaches, they can all feel that way yesterday. And this is, I'm not telling any tales out of school here. There are a lot of players and probably a lot of coaches too who might go out and lose this game today, and they don't want to lose, and they're not trying to lose, and they'll feel bad about losing, but not as bad as the fans feel.
Yeah,
because it's a work day for them,
right?
And it's once the day at work is over, you go home, and if the TV's on, you probably turn it off, and you get some time with the wife and kids, and you have a nice meal, and then you come back and you go to work the next day. I'm not trying to say they don't care and they're not trying to win. Obviously, all these guys are playing their sport at the highest level, and they have achieved their entire, adult lives to be the best at what they do. But with that comes some measure of understanding a loss is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Fans can feel that way. Players can't afford to. And that good feeling that you felt yesterday, Deuce, it might continue in the locker room or in the offices sometime next week, even after a loss.
Yeah, or I might just have my heart ripped out.
What, for
about
you?
2 hours.
You? I'm saying them.
No, I know. And like, and we even feel it too. It's just like our schedule is, on the teams, and, you feel like when the team isn't doing as well, you don't feel that like, I got to be at my best too. I mean, it's just, I think it's a pervasive element of, when things aren't going great, you just feel a little bit less invested. It's a little harder to get motivated to do.
Well, I've heard from fans who use both wins and losses as an excuse to drink too much and not do a good job or even show up at work.
Right.
They're like, they won. I'm going to get so drunk.
They lost. I'm
not going in tomorrow. Oh, they lost. That sucks. I'm going to get drunk. What's the point? I'm not going into work tomorrow.
Yep.
And I can do that.
I can't.
Oh, yeah. No, I can justify that reasoning.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've felt that way.
Yeah.
I work every day.
Yeah.
Every day I work. I'm not taking a day off for any team winning or losing, but people do for both reasons.
No, and I think there's also an element today of that the Bills have just kind of kicked our butt the last few times that we played, so it's a little bit easier to just be like, well, I don't know. I mean, like, let's just go into it. I mean, imagine this is kind of where the Bills were at when the Patriots beat them however many times. We're like, hey, here they come again, Tom Brady. Like, maybe we'll make it close. Maybe all of a sudden Ryan Fitzpatrick's just going to play great today, and
right.
We're going to pull off a crazy upset.
Maybe we won't get embarrassed. Right. Well,
maybe.
Could be.
Show's going great without those guys. Do we sure we need them?
No, we truly don't. Chad in Atlanta. Welp, I guess if this Bill contract news is accurate, it has just solidified the Patriots' mediocrity for the next few years. The human brain doesn't age well, and when you get into your 70s, so the questionable decisions Bill has been making in the last few years are only going to get worse. They do get a top 5 draft pick after this season. Get ready for it to be traded away for a few tough special teamers. Extremely mad Chad in ATL.
What I'm thinking about, though, is like, let's just game this out for a second. Like, let's just say, the rest of the season's pretty bad, but Bill sticks around. And, the season ends and it was unacceptable, but Bill isn't going anywhere. It's hard to say, well, what changes? Like if you can't change Bill, what other changes do you feel like are realistically on the table? Because I feel like Billy O will deserve another season. I don't think I'm ready to fire Bill O'Brien after 1 year of this. Gerard Mayo's like a favored son around here. I mean, he seems like he's waiting in the wings. They got plans for him. Nobody's firing Steve Belichick on Bill's watch. So, it's on one hand, if it was a little bit easier to say, well, you could keep Bill, but you could kind of juggle a lot of things. Like, it feels like, though, if this happens, it's hard to make any changes unless maybe you want to talk about, I guess, higher up. But it's hard to see any easy changes that come. If it's just Bill, it's probably going to stay the same.
Well, Nick in Wisconsin said something similar. He goes, hey, how much of the struggles fall onto Mac Jones, or is it possibly because of Bill O'Brien? But Mac Jones is the constant here. He looks about the same as he did last year, unfortunately.
And about the same as he looked as a rookie. I mean, overall.
I think as a rookie he looked a little bit better. I think a little bit better.
Yeah.
But this year has been, pretty much an extension of last year. Bill O'Brien was supposed to be the difference maker. Bill O'Brien was supposed to be worth 2 wins. We were supposed to, get yourself up to 8-9 wins just by having
wins. Just 2 wins. It's supposed to be worth 2 wins. Well, we've got 1.
Yeah. 2 wins more than what you had the year before.
Real quick on the inactives.
Oh, what do we got?
So, Josh Uche, Keon White, we knew those ones. Juju Smith-Schuster. Will Grier will be the 3rd quarterback today. Calvin Anderson, Kayshon Boutte, and sorry, folks, Malik Cunningham is inactive today. So, Bailey Zappi back in as the backup quarterback. The Malik Cunningham experiment is at least on a 1-week hiatus after last week, and Juju's out. But good news, Cole Strange, Hunter Henry, Pop Douglas are going to go. So hopefully Cole Strange is feeling good. He's not having to deal with Ed Oliver today, which is always a nice bonus on the inside of the line there for him. So opportunity for him.
Did you ever wrap your head around what was going on with Malik Cunningham in as the backup last week?
No.
Bill O'Brien tried to explain it last week. Well, due to injuries, we had a lot of things to shuffle around. I'm like, well, the injury, like you couldn't list him as a wide receiver, or was it because the offensive line was so banged up you were just going to have Malik run around with the ball if Mac went down in the first quarter? Like, what does that mean? Due to injuries, Malik had to be the backup.
Hardy, I don't have any clue. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about it this week, and if Mac Jones had gone down, you kind of had to just play Malik Cunningham. It did not look on his 2 snaps at quarterback that he was like fully prepared to run a full offense. I mean, both plays were kind of disasters, similar kind of plays.
And what's the rule on your emergency backup? You can't use them until the 4th quarter if your first backup is healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's some nuance to it, and once they go out, like, we had a debate of like, well, who's to say who the second quarterback actually is? Like, could you just put in the 3rd guy and just say, well, we're not going to play Malik Cunningham anymore, even if he didn't get hurt? I don't think you can. So we spent a lot of time this week trying to get to the bottom of it. It's still as confusing now as it was when they first did the move, and I don't know what would have happened if Mac Jones got hurt last week, if they were just going to start running read option every other play with Malik Cunningham.
Oh, good grief. Michelle in South Carolina. What's going on, Michelle?
Hey, guys. Hey, Deuce, don't worry. You'll be okay today.
All right, I appreciate it.
Oh.
Guys, this is crazy news about Belichick. What the hell? What are we doing? Nothing's going to change if he stays unless the GM role is completely taken away from him.
I mean,
Do you think that will happen?
If you believe the report, I mean, I don't think he's coaching without a contract. I don't think he was going into his final year because I don't think he would have done that. I don't think he'd be coaching as a lame duck head coach GM. What did they agree to? What's the real deal? Did they agree to anything in this? It's hard to believe. I'm not saying that Rappaport made it up, but where do you think this would come from? What do you got to?
I got another thought on it.
Oh, you got a developing opinion on this?
I do.
All right, what is it?
I was going to let Michelle go.
Go ahead, Michelle.
No, wait. So it has to be coming from his camp.
Inside the house.
For some reason, this has got to be coming out from his side. I don't know why, or if he's putting pressure on Kraft.
I have a
to
theory.
keep him.
Okay,
but
so okay, thanks, Michelle. Deuce, what's your? Look, she'll stay on all day, and whenever I try and move on, she's going to say, "Wait,
wait."
No, we're not waiting.
I just wonder if part of it might be directed towards the locker room and guys who might be saying, "He's going to be out. Let's drop the rope. We'll go. We'll figure it out next year. Someone else will be here. We're not listening to him now." This, at least one of the effects of this report could perhaps be, sorry guys, Bill ain't going anywhere. So if you want to play here and you want to make something of yourself as a Patriot, you got to start playing this year, and you can't just mail it in. That's a thought I have.
I could see this report leaked from either side, though. From an ownership side, put the story out there that Bill signed a lucrative multi-year extension and get everybody off my back about firing him mid-season. That's messy. I don't like messy.
Yep.
And I don't want to have to name a coach. I don't want to have to do all that.
Cut it off at the pass.
Let's just, so that will give some people reason enough to why we're not firing him mid-season, because then it would just cost even more money.
Yeah.
From a Bill Belichick side, why would Bill Belichick leak the story?
That's what I mean, the players, I think that could,
Players?
I think the side, it's not really directed towards the fans, but the fans are the ones who are going to have the biggest reaction to it. And that's, why pretty much every question now is going to be about that. But then as we get through the game in the next few hours, then, is it not going to get buried and lost? Or, how much will you get into the Sports Hub tomorrow at 10 and you and Zoe and Beat will be, talking about this game, or will you be talking more about this extension and, well, great thing they did it because the Patriots just beat the Bills and Bills back, baby. We bought low on them. Or, is this, wow, they lost this game and it continues to be at the forefront, which I assume is probably the case.
Well, let's continue with the phone calls and the emails here. 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com. Our man Eldred, the Carolinas representing today, north and south. Eldred, what's going on, my man?
Hey, Hardy, Paul, Deuce.
Hey.
I'm like that shocking news, but I'm with you, Hardy. Ain't no way in hell they can do it. Ain't no way. But,
Tough
but
to
if
believe.
They do, I'm like everybody else. Still the same. But I'm hoping that if Matt shows, like he been showing the last couple games, I hope they pull it. Put Real Greer in or put Zappy in or somebody, because he is totally broken, and that's the only way we got a chance of winning. He just got to step up a little bit. I know he's been taking a beating, but you got to step up sometime. You got to make the plays and make the throws. So all it is the quarterback.
Yep. Well, it's going to be Zappy today. He is listed as your backup, and then Will Greer is the emergency.
Yeah. And
okay, one more question. I'll let you go.
Yep.
I know everybody was talking about Mayor. What's wrong with Jordan? Got his last name for Florida State last time as a quarterback. Y'all have a good one.
What's
Bye.
that? Will Greer? I don't know. I missed what he said.
I missed the question.
Yeah, so, interesting. Phil Perry, right after that, Paul, I want to throw this just at you. An idea I had, and now Phil has just said it as well. Maybe the contract thing, a little bit of a message to the players of, I'm not going anywhere. You got to buy in now. Phil kind of tweeting out something similar.
I don't have any, yes, no,
No,
maybe.
just, like a potential what's the impetus for getting this report out there? Where might you? Sorry. That's my.
I was going to say,
I'm
I'm trying to turn the volume
I thought it was
off
yours.
on my
I'm like,
computer.
turn
It's
it off,
yours.
Hardy.
Come on, Deuce.
We're getting that rap sheet poured again there. Sorry.
God. Paul, where you been?
I had to do a podcast with Mike Rabel.
You just Mike Vrabel was here?
We were in the TV studio.
You just went to why don't you bring Mike Vrabel in here to have
Because
the
now
talk
he's
with us?
doing a chin wag with Tamara Brown.
He's chin wagging.
Oh, whatever. We're fine. You know what?
Whatever. It's fine.
Don't know Mike Vrabel.
Paul, could I have the power cord?
Yeah, you could.
All right, we're going to step aside. We are going to take more of your phone calls and emails here. 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com. So, was that meant for everybody, or are you just having a conversation with Deuce?
Just Deuce.
I'm trying to do a show here.
Kick off your week with free coffee Mondays. Every Monday from now until October 30th, Dunkin Rewards members can get a free medium hot or iced coffee with purchase. Nothing beats Dunkin Rewards. America runs on Dunkin. Limit 1 per member per Monday. Exclusions, additional charges, and terms may apply. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
Dunkin Rewards members, score big. Get a free medium hot or iced coffee every Monday all month long with purchase. Not a member? Join on the app right now. America runs on Dunkin.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
Dunkin Rewards members, score big. Get a free medium hot or iced coffee every Monday all month long with purchase. Not a member? Join on the app right now. America runs on Dunkin.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500. or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Well, you're on a separate group chat with Morel. You have to text Morel, right? No? Do you not send your
do, but
your
when
keys
it's-
to
when
Morel?
it's two people, that's not a group.
Okay. That's a fair point, Mike.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
You know, for somebody who wanted desperately on the group text last week, Tamara has now all but ignored the group text, and I say all but she has.
I
She
knew
will
this
not
was coming.
participate.
I told
You
Mike
prepared.
this
Yeah.
So what's the
yesterday or
problem?
2 days ago.
What's the problem?
The problem
I
is
wanted to let her share it. I wanted to let her do it on the
Yeah.
show. That's
All
why.
right, well, now she's doing it.
The problem is that I was in LA for a commercial and I left my phone in my car by accident, and so I was not able to respond to the group chat.
How does one leave their phone?
It fell in the cracks of my seat while I was driving, and I
Yeah.
forgot to retrieve it after my 40-minute drive to the airport.
Okay, so there's only one other person I know of who has driven to the airport, gone into the airport, and left their phone in the car and not gone back for it. And this is not a good company to be in. His name is Scott Zolak. Okay?
Sorry.
I mean, don't you have like your boarding pass on your phone?
Well, I have
Don't
two
you?
phones. I have two phones.
Okay. All right. Well, that explains it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
won't
so
happen
you'll be
again.
joining the group text this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. All right.
Oh.
Paul, great news for you.
Congratulations, Paul.
You won the key.
Yeah, I just want to thank the Academy again. This means a lot to me.
Start playing the music.
This makes me a two-time winner, so that puts me in elite company.
I voted for you. Deuce voted for you.
Yeah.
Tamara voted for Deuce.
I would have voted for myself.
And you would have. Well,
Yeah, that's
we
what we
didn't.
figured.
We didn't want there to be a tie, so we had LePan vote just to make sure, and he voted for you, and that was it. So.
And that was that.
Thank you.
we-
Appreciate it, guys.
We asked.
Don't lose it.
We asked Marine Matt to vote, and he said he didn't care, so he made LePan.
He's only the producer
vote.
of the show.
Right. Well.
So I haven't been here,
Yeah.
obviously, in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about what Steve said. He didn't think today was going to be a
I know.
30-point blowout, which
Yeah.
I thought was very
Should
interesting.
have heard Tasker. His score prediction was like 18-17, or like some
I don't think
crazy.
it's going to be a
120.
30-point blowout either. You know,
Albert Breer is the one who said
30?
the Bills are going to win by 30.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I mean, it's possible. We've seen it before.
I
think the Bills are just too beat up for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just very interesting. He's like, we've had slow starts. Like, we started off so slow, and it's like, if that's starting off slow, what are we doing?
Yeah, you haven't seen slow start, Steve Tasker. Come on. Well, it'd be, we'll see. I mean, do you think if we were Bills pregame, it would probably be like get a lead and shut it down? That'd be kind of run the ball, just try to get out of here and not get any more banged up than you can. But that's why I think like if the Patriots are able to get a great start and not allow them to take their foot off the gas and just at least stay relevant throughout the game and not, those games that we've seen a bunch this year where it's like, all right, it's a 15-point lead, 16-point lead, 17-point lead. Like, it's kind of over because this team, we haven't seen them being able to come back from that. So maybe get a lead, put a little pressure on them, force them into mistakes. Like, I think the start's really important.
Here's something else you both missed while you were gone. Deuce feels really good about the game today because he saw Scar and Vrabel yesterday at the induction. He said it was a really good time.
It was.
So he felt it makes him feel good about the Patriots, so he feels good about the game today.
It was nice. It was a nice reprieve. It was a little Patriots positivity, some laughs, some good memories, and you kind of forgot about what's going on in the field right now. So I know that the two are completely unrelated, but I want to get hurt again. I'm ready to get hurt today. I'm going in just like eyes wide open, like, all right, let's do it again. Let's see what happens.
I don't know if this is good news. I mean, it could be good news depending on which way you take it, but it is pretty windy today.
We need all the help we can get.
Hey.
Yeah.
I don't know about the last time the
Although-
Patriots beat the Bills, but something tells me it was a little windy. I don't know, kind of a wind game.
We got Ernie back there.
It's like, I'm no meteorologist, but it is, a little windy out
That's-
there.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't think it's going to be windy to the point where you can't throw. If that's the case, then that's edge Patriots.
30 mile an hour.
Josh
Yeah,
Allen just
that's not
rip
going to
it-
stop Josh Allen from throwing.
Rip it through the wind.
It might stop Mac Jones from throwing.
So just a little something, though. I mean, Pop Douglas, Demario Douglas, sorry, Paul. is active.
Does he not like?
Want to make sure he knows who we're talking about.
Does he not
I'm
like
with
pop?
you. I don't do pop. DeMario.
I generally
Okay.
don't do nicknames unless I really know the person. That's all.
He told me, he said, call me whatever you want. But I only do it because every time I say DeMario, my brain does this thing where it says Davis or Douglas, Davis or Douglas, Davis. And sometimes it's
Yeah,
a 50-50 thing. And
I
do
get that. I do
DeMario
that
Davis.
stuff all the time.
I wrote it last week, and my key, Chris Cassidy, God bless him, was like, you think you wrote, the wrong DeMario. But I just can't get my brain straight on it. So if I say Pop, I'm a Pop Douglas. That's what it is.
Paul
I
used to
also-
refer to a certain Red Sox outfielder as Christopher Nixon because he just refused.
Yeah, see, and that's why
Do trot on your own time.
And that's what I was like. His name was Trot Nixon. Like that's nobody knew him by anything other than Trot. Like Oil Can Boyd. I called him Oil Can. So I'm not like anti-nickname.
What was his real name?
I do feel like
Dennis.
a lot of people reference him as Pop
was.
though. Like even Mac Jones references him
Pop
as
Shada.
Pop.
Well, the point I was going to make, though, is that the first time you've had Tyquan Thornton and Pop Douglas both healthy, available in a game. So I'm not telling you it
Good
means
luck.
anything. But for a team looking for some speed, you got a couple guys. And of course, Malik Cunningham is an active Paul. So that charade is
Yeah, can you guys fill me in on the rest of that?
Cole Strange is active. Hunter Henry is active. But it was Booty, Cunningham, among others.
Keon, Josh.
Yeah, the ones we kind of already knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Cunningham. And
Don't let Booty as an
Wilker's the third
as
player.
an
Oh
inactive
my
get by
God.
you.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't even see it coming. I don't know how I don't. But
That's how he gets you. That's how he gets you.
Hardy, do you remember an old movie from the 70s called A Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
Basketball movie, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Dr. J.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had like the star of the team, just wanted to get that team was terrible. He wanted to get traded. In the middle of the game, he scored a basket and he lifted up his shirt and it said "Trade me" on it. That's how I envision Keyshawn Booty right now. Just like, what am I doing? I just need to get out of
What
here.
I got to do, along those lines, though, Paul, is they promoted Rager again, so this is his third promotion. So this is the last time that they can elevate him.
Won't be seeing him no more.
No, but somebody pointed out he's been kind of the backup X, the backup of Parker. So if they were to pull back on Parker, or dare I say let's put our fastest lineup out there with Rager and Pop and Thornton, maybe maybe there's a little bit of speed to be had out there today. We'll see. Not sure.
I'm not buying it.
Not buying it either, but I'm just trying
The
to.
moment that
Look, I got-
Keyshawn Booty is active again, like on the roster, I might have to skip the show because Hardy's going to be insufferable.
Oh, it's just be all kinds of
More insufferable.
Louisiana.
Yeah, more insufferable.
Thank you.
More insufferable,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Tony in Canada joining us now. Patriots pregame, fueled by Dunkin. What's going on, Tony?
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think it was kind of interesting, the story that came out about Bill Belichick signing that extension. And I think it pretty much quelches any discussion about Belichick being fired. Would you guys agree with that?
I do not.
Or no?
I don't agree with it. I don't really agree with the report either. But even if it is, I think at some point you have to figure out what direction your team is going. And Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft have that decision to make, whether it's financial or not.
Yeah.
I think they have to. I'm not telling you that Bill Belichick is out because I don't know what's going on with the Krafts. I don't know how
Do you
they're
think it
thinking.
makes a difference, though, if Belichick did sign an extent, like a 3 or 4 year deal, that would give Kraft serious?
Well,
serious.
I think if he was going to get rid of him, if he had decided he would get rid of him, but he's not because of the money, I think that's a mistake. Like the Cardinals last year gave Cliff Kingsbury a big extension heading into the season, and they decided that was a mistake, and they fired him. And I think that's what you need to do.
Even if they signed him to a 20 or 25 year million deal, they could still write him a check and let him go.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think that's what, if you're running the program properly, I think that's what you would do. Again, now I'm not, if they don't think that the right thing to do to get rid of him, that's fine too. Like, what if they think that he is the best guy for the job to lead them back?
Yeah, and do you understand the difference between don't and can't when I say I can't believe that Robert Kraft would do that? Look at what has happened the last few years. Make that statement at the end of last season, and then sign Belichick to a long-term lucrative contract where he is both the general manager and head coach of the team. I cannot believe that. My mind will not make those things
And
work.
If the Kraft family has decided that Bill is the best guy for the job, then you keep him. But I don't want to keep him because of money.
No.
Like, if they don't think he's the right guy for the job, like, listen, I know it's easy for me to say it's not my money, but you have to do what's best for the team.
Right. And I find it so hard to believe that the Crafts would paint themselves into a corner with a contract that they couldn't get rid of with, even though it's Bill, it's still a 71-year-old coach. Like, they have to be able to think about ways to get out of that, or if there are outs, like, it's just, that doesn't hold water for me.
All right. Good day, Socialators. This is Dan in Virginia and Michigan.
Socialator.
Last week's postgame show, Hardy stated that he thought Mac might have been destined to never be a true NFL quality quarterback. Apologies if I'm mischaracterizing you, Hardy, but if that's accurate, how does Belichick have a miss like that? Sounds like something I would have said, so sure, I'll own it.
But wait a minute, how does Belichick have a miss like that? I mean, there's a million misses.
There's
like
a million.
That.
How does he put Matt Patricia in his offensive?
I didn't mean Belichick had a million misses. I mean, there's a million guys that get drafted in the top 10 that don't pan out.
Yeah, and look, he can be a quarterback in the NFL. Brian Hoyer can, and he was, arguably never ever really good. He was a guy who could go out there and take snaps. We saw it last week, complete some throws.
Hey, he's starting today.
I'm going to give give you a very short, not so comprehensive list of how did that guy not become an NFL quarterback. Taken in the top half of the first round.
You've got a printout already about
These are
this?
top half of the first round quarterbacks.
How do you do that?
I love that Paul always
Blaine
has the
Gabbert,
receipts.
Jake Locker. Robert Griffin's a little bit of a question mark because of the injury. Blake Bortles, Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. I mean, and that's not even counting like Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, who I think the jury's still out on. It's not over for those guys yet. Those are all top half of the first round quarterbacks.
Oh, and some of them much higher than.
And some of
than
these
Mac
guys, some of
Jones.
these guys flat out were not. Josh Rosen was not an NFL quarterback.
Oh, yeah,
right.
So it happens.
It's just that you got the pick. You need a quarterback. You're in the top. This is the guy this year that happens to be there and is available, and you're kind of painted into a corner. I think I look at, we've been talking a lot about is Mac going to be back next year, and I mean I think that's a lot of stuff to talk about. But I was thinking a little bit about the Falcons, where it just kind of feels like Ritter's probably kind of a placeholder for like when they need to get the guy. But I don't think that that's a terrible way to think about it. Of if Mac is back next year, and you have to kind of invest around him to continue to build up those important positions. So, all right, if it doesn't work out when he gets to the end of his rookie deal, that you've got a team kind of waiting that's going to look appetizing to a quarterback that you can bring in, and he's going to be set up for some success. I don't want the Patriots to feel like, and I know both the May and Williams lost yesterday, and it kind of led to some humor on Twitter about all that, but. If you're sitting at 6, 7, 8, and you're not going to get those two guys, and you don't know how you feel about a guy like Penix or whatever, like, don't be afraid to build around the quarterback position.
I feel like I'm hoping regardless they build around the quarterback position. Whether Mac's going to stay or whether they're going to draft one of those guys, is like you need to have support around them.
They have to.
Let's talk to Adam in Longmeadow. Hello, Adam, on the Patriots pregame, fueled by Dunkin. What's going on, Adam? Adam, once, twice, goodbye. Jose in Texas instead will take your slot. Hello, Jose. What's going on?
Hello?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, what do you guys think about Duggar's contract? You guys extending him, or are you letting him go after this offseason? Thanks, guys. Love the show.
I would look to extend him.
I like Duggar.
I think I think he's a good, solid player and a foundational kind of piece that at some point you have to decide, Mike, what young guys are going to get a second contract and be part of your future, or you're just going to continue to spin your wheels and go on with the young cheap route.
I agree. I mean, I think he makes the most sense. It's hard to really, given all their needs on the offensive side of the ball and what they drafted last year, Onwenu, Uche, two other guys that have played well. I'm with you on Duggar. I still think he hasn't quite reached that level we all wanted him to be, especially this year where he's been playing a little bit more on the back end, hasn't been able to make as many game-changing kind of plays. I still think he's a good player. I wish he could get to that next level, though, and really just, I think it's in coverage that's kind of where he struggles a little bit. So I hope they retain him. I don't have as high hopes, for Onwenu or Josh Uche right now, just based on what they need, and I think they need to allocate correctly and not waste their time. I think Onwenu's a really good player, and I think it would make sense to keep him, but I also think you got a bunch of guards, and you probably need to look at the tackle position, the wide receiver position, and certainly the tight end position where you have no one under contract next year.
Paul, on both our printout from Marine Matt and on the graphic here on the Patriots pregame, your key is listed as run the dang balls,
Yes.
plural.
Yes.
Is that what you wanted to say, or is that...
So does that mean I have to give up my key?
No, but I mean,
off
is
color?
that what you said, or do you just want to run the dang ball,
No,
singular?
Ball. Yeah, it was ball.
Okay.
Run the dang balls.
I don't think Tamara wanted to give up. Don't give the Bill 8
Biatals. The biatals.
Either.
Oh.
Need to check the text message group, but my phone's updating, so I can't.
Okay.
You copy and paste that? It's like, I don't know what it means, but
He is a little Burgundy-esque, Matt. Because I cannot guarantee that I didn't write run the dang balls. By accident there was an S attached there, but
Repeating from last week, run the dang ball.
oh, okay.
Singular.
So I'm just an idiot.
No. I had to go through it. I have several group texts going on, including several today of telling me what door I had to come in. You people.
And I actually thought, I was like, wow, that's very unlike me to think
Heads up,
ahead and
fuck.
think of others.
Right, just come walking through. And
Well, no,
ruin the
I did.
interview.
I knew we were going to be talking to Romeo Cornell, which we did before the show today. So two podcasts that I know the loyal listeners of the pregame and postgame shows, two Pats from the Past podcasts to keep an eye out for in the near future, Romeo Cornell and Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's was a little bit short, but really good. And we were doing the Romeo Cornell one before the show, and I didn't want Mike and Hardy to sort of walk through the back door over here in the middle and be on camera.
No.
I was trying
Idiots.
to go out of my way. I didn't realize that you had received the same message from others.
No, and that's
my
fine.
apologize.
And in your defense, I have been known to open that door and say something very coarse.
Oh, that'd be funny.
As my first words of the day to anybody sitting in this room. I
Yeah.
think about what's my
So
opening
I-
line going to be.
So I'm trying to save everybody from themselves. And now I'm just kidding.
I understand. John in Louisiana. What's going on, John? Thanks for being on the Patriots pregame. Fueled by Dunkin. What's up?
All good. What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Hey, to the point of Kyle Duggan not kind of fanning out, I was wondering about the safety unit. I thought we was going to be so good on the back and being able to do all kind of things. Did y'all kind of feel the same way, or did y'all know it was going to be this bad?
I mean, I don't feel like it's been terrible. I mean, I think they definitely missed DMAC a little bit just in terms of, maybe some of the range and some of the leadership kind of stuff. But I don't know. Overall, I think they've been okay. I'd like to see Duggar have more opportunities to make plays a little bit like we've seen Peppers make a couple plays. Like, we need more of that from Duggar, forcing, some fumbles, those kind of things. But I don't know. I mean, does it feel like they've gotten torn apart down the field? Not really.
Well, no, but I think the safety play has been pretty good. The cornerback play has been spotty.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the safeties have actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
John in Louisiana, just to be on the safe side, we'll tell Duggar and everyone else back there, don't let those receivers get by you.
That was a good one. I like that.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Oh, he's just being nice.
No, he's not. He actually liked it.
He seemed like it came out of nowhere.
By you. See, he's calling from Louisiana.
You know what you need? You need an alligator joke. You got to get a gator
I
joke in there
need-
somehow.
You gotta get a gator joke
Yeah,
in
we
there?
got to get some more Southern jokes. In
I
there.
need a month off is what I need. I need 1
You
month.
don't take any time
A
off. do you?
sabbatical.
What did you do if you went for a week without talking?
Now,
about
when you get a month off
sports?
from one job, does that,
you got to line up all your
line
jobs.
up all the 7
You got,
other
like
jobs?
7 different jobs you got to take off if you're going to go do anything.
One of those jobs I'm really not allowed to take off from, so you kind of have to work ahead. It's one of those classic, like, if I take a vacation, I have to work so much before I leave, and when I get back, it's kind of not worth it.
You painted yourself into a corner.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
A little bit. A little bit.
A little
Kinda
bit.
Oh,
like
look,
doing-
Stephon Diggs is here. Great.
Kind of like doing 4 shows at once today for me.
Stephon.
I apologize for that.
Let's grab a couple more calls, then we'll get to the over-unders. Is that cool? And one of these emails here, Noel in Ireland, if the news on Bill's contract is true and he will coach next year, where does this team go from here? Bill unlikely to give up any control. Seems a strange time to give a new multi-year contract. Going to see the team in Germany in a few weeks. I need to see something today to give me some hope. Thank you, Noel.
Come see live Patriots Unfiltered at Thursday and Friday night, 6 to 8.
Where?
The first night is at the Patriots House, H-A-U-S.
House.
And then the second one's at, I forget off the top of my head. There's like Gibson's, I think, is where it's going to be. So
how do you guys know these things? Are these more meetings that I'm not invited?
Well, they're upstairs meetings, and then not in your office.
We save Paul from those.
I'm with the steerage.
I give Paul a signal where I'm like, I think you should be in this one, and we all right, but like,
yeah, every once in a while, it just sends out a bad signal. So your presence might be appreciated.
Yeah. So be on the lookout, though. The PU crew will be.
I am looking forward to flying in the middle of the night, though. Much like was told wouldn't happen.
Are you allowed, as someone leaving Boston, to go to Europe at a time other than 9, 10, 11 p.m.? Because I've only been overseas twice flying to Europe, and both times it wasn't even considered, oh, no, your flight's at 9:45 p.m.
Yeah.
That's when you have to go.
I've always liked taking red eyes, though, when flying east, because it's like you're going to, with the time change, it's like you're going to lose a day anyway, so I'd rather just do it at night.
I don't know. They must be, like, obscenely cheaper. There must be, like, a morning flight to Europe, but...
Well, the weird thing is, like, we're going to leave in the afternoon, and so, like, technically we're arriving at, like, 11 p.m.-ish our time, but it's, there it's going to be, like, 5, 6 in the morning. So it's going to be, that's the change for us. It's going to feel like we just basically...
Wait a sec. When are you leaving here?
We're leaving, like, Tuesday evening, and then we're going to get there.
5 o'clock?
So,
4:30?
So
maybe?
technically we're getting there 11, 12 o'clock at night if you were still on East Coast time.
Deuce will get me there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But it'll actually be in the morning, so it's going to be a very... short. I'm sorry, no one cares about this.
No one cares about the trials and tribulations of those poor a-holes have to go to Germany for a football game.
Seriously.
We're not even going for the game, actually, Paul.
That's true. We'll be back. We'll be back for you, Hardy.
7:15 in the morning. So we get back Saturday. Paul and I will probably be a little bit jet lagged.
This is off the air, but any more discussion on that yet?
No.
So what do you do all week if you're not having that conversation?
I told you they have these meetings, and I'm not. No, but thank God I don't want to be in those meetings.
We're going to be meeting our fans.
I got to stop complaining about not being at the meetings that I don't want to be at.
We're going to bring T-shirts, and we'll be handing them out.
Okay.
I just want to say that the Friday night show is going to be one spectacular show.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Why is that?
It's going to be. I don't want to spoil it. It's going to be one hell of a show.
Yeah. Why we want to generate interest?
Let's get Floyd in Michigan and his 5 questions.
There we go.
Today.
Let's
what
go.
do you got, Floyd?
What's up, Floyd?
Good morning, good afternoon. One of those two. How's everybody doing?
Good.
I have a comment, and then I have one question. I got to admit, my criticism has been shifted. It's been on Mac and Bill, but it's about to shift to Mr. Kraft, and I'm going to leave it there.
Oh, okay.
That contract, that's true, but I'm going to leave that alone. During the week, somebody called in to Patriots Unfiltered, and they basically, because of the challenges and all the misses with the quarterbacks at the top of the draft, this caller basically wanted to avoid that. And I know what Mr. Perillo read off, but that don't go to the top of the draft to try to get a quarterback.
So, Floyd, I'm glad you bring this up, because the reason I made the chart in the first place was to sort of combat those people that think that that's not the way to go. I only read the bad ones. I didn't include Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Andrew Luck, and Cam Newton, who are also top half of the first-round quarterbacks that I think anybody would have been happy with had the Patriots selected.
Yeah.
So you are correct, Floyd. If you want to get a change at quarterback, and you think it's going to be beyond that, well, I have some numbers that would indicate that it's much harder to do it beyond the top 10.
Oh.
Beyond the top half of that first round, and I think I did those were top 10 picks, by the way. 9 out of 25 hit. So that's 36%. The bottom of the first round and all other rounds. And I didn't include every single quarterback that was drafted, only if the guy sort of landed in the NFL and was at least a backup. You're 10 for 44. All other, that's everybody else. So, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance were top 10 picks. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, and Davis Mills were the others. That those are guys that are so none of those guys have hit.
Right.
Like Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, those are guys that have hit.
Right.
But it's much harder to do it if you don't do it in the top 10.
Yeah.
So Floyd's right. I agree with Floyd.
Floyd, where are you at in Michigan?
I'm in Redford,
Oh, okay, yeah.
right outside Detroit. So go Red Wings, Mr. Hardy. But my question, very quickly, Mike brought up Michael Penix Jr.
Yep.
And that's a bad brother. So I do not believe that we're going to be able to draft Caleb Williams or Drake May. But I think we'll be in the striking range of Michael Penix Jr. But here's my question. He's going to be around the draft or just after he's going to be 24. He is left-handed. He's torn his ACL twice in 18 and 20. I think it's the right. Do any of these factors, now he's still a bad man, do any of these factors that I've mentioned make you hesitate or question or take him off your draft board?
Certainly not the left-handed part. That's just a tongue-in-cheek thing for me because I was a lefty quarterback in high school.
Not for me, it's not. I hate lefties.
But
I don't
none
know.
of those things would factor. I don't
yeah.
think 24 is like overly beyond draftable. I mean, he's a little older for college. He spent more time in college than most. But that wouldn't differ. He's 23 years old right now.
You got to get to these. And are we at the end of the COVID guys? Like, I feel like all the COVID stuff just enabled everybody to stay in college for 15 years.
There's a lot of 5 and 6 year college guys. Yeah.
Floyd, thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, I would be interested in Penix, but I don't know why we're saying that you're not going to be in position to get the others. I mean, I don't know. See, I do think there's still an element of that. Like, well, they're not. They're 1-5, but they're not really like the other 1-5 teams.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we are watching the warm-ups right now.
Cameras look great.
I'll give
They're
you
so good.
Oh, so crisp.
I'll give you an example of how I think that how far they've fallen. Like, I'm just looking at Twitter today, and there's 2 or 3 different guys that have covered the Patriots. Been around. Chris Mason, who does a great job for Mass Live. Am I stupid for thinking this game is going to be close? Like, and my answer to that would be no. But like, I remember when we used to say like, am I stupid for thinking this game is going to be close because the other team's going to stay close?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden we're considering it an accomplishment if the Patriots don't get their doors blown off today.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an accomplishment.
It's been bad against Buffalo. I think that's what's hard to shake.
And there's you got to look at the silver pants there.
Yeah, they look good. It's a better.
Really?
I would like that if they were.
I can't believe you care.
I
can't believe anybody cares.
But can't you just comment on how you think they look?
Finish?
Fine.
Can I finish?
I wouldn't even have noticed unless somebody brought it up 9 times already in the pregame.
Well, so now your evaluation skills are in question.
No, I wish the stripes matched. Like you got to go red and white. If you got red and white on the shoulders, you got to go red and white on the bottom. So I don't know. It's a little bit disjointed. But
I spent all the money on extending Belichick for 5 more years at $30 million per. Eric in New Jersey, what's up, Eric?
Deuce, Tamara, Paulie, how you guys doing?
Hey, good,
great,
grand.
Did you catch that? See that? I just skipped right by you.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yes. Joke didn't hit there. Okay. The question though that I had was the two questions that I had. How do you guys feel if there's no move made before the trade deadline, whether Bill stays or go, in regard to the organization? And then just to not to, keep hitting on Duggar. I think Duggar, the only reason he hasn't been making those plays that we've been accustomed to these past season, I think is Peppers is playing in that role. The further the ball from Duggar's been away, playing more of that free safety, he's just not been able to get closer to the line and make those plays. And for him coming in a contract year, looking at, I would feel some way, for myself coming in a contract year, given, he's going to be 27, 28. I would definitely feel some way towards the organization about that. I don't know if you guys, pick up on remnants on that in the locker room.
Well, I think it's fair with the safeties because they have been further away. Peppers, Duggar, Phillips hasn't even played as much as he has, but all those guys have been further away from the line of scrimmage than they were last year because they don't have Devin McCourty.
Yeah.
They have to do that. They have to rotate.
And I think the games have played into it, too. Nobody really has to throw the ball down the field the last few games when teams have had big leads. It doesn't really put the pressure on opposing passing games where where mistakes tend to happen.
The Patriots only had a lead in one game, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Here's by the way, Eric, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Enjoy the game. There he goes. Here's something that just popped up.
You have beef with Eric?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Why do you have to throw some shade your way?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Doesn't care for you.
The Boston Bruins, have fewer losses in regulation over the last 2 seasons than the Patriots. The Bruins have 12 regulation losses over the last 2 seasons. Patriots have 13. Bruins have played 85 games with 12 regulation losses. Patriots have played 23 games with 13 regulation losses.
That's a great stat. Bruins off to a great start, 4-0.
What's the matter, Paul? What's up? What's with the sour look on your puss?
Because don't the Patriots have 14 regulation losses in the last 2 years?
I don't
Regular
know.
season?
I don't know.
They lost
Math.
9 last year and 5 this year, right? They were 8 and 9.
Patriots.
They were 8 and 9 last year, and they're 1 and 5 now.
Did they lose in overtime last year?
Well, I just said regular season losses.
Regulation.
Oh, okay.
Regulation.
Who'd they lose to in overtime?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe.
Can we do the over-unders?
Sure.
It's time for this week's edition of Over Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Oh, boy. I think I actually had a decent week. Matt, what happened last week?
Hardy 4-2, Mike
Nice.
and Paul 3-3. Totals on the season: Mike Paul 18-18, Hardy 15-21.
Okay.
Right in the middle. Just don't like it.
No, it's fine. Could be another big movement week, so let's find out. What
It's
do we
always
got?
a big movement week for me,
Let's
Hardy.
see if you can finally hit the over on this one. Mac Jones passing yards 184.5.
Oh, Nelly. Yeah, I think they're going to run the ball a little bit. Anyway, I'm sorry, Mac. I'm going to go under.
Paul.
What's that gif where you just like keep kicking yourself in the face? Yeah, over. I'll take the over.
184. It's not that. It's not that much.
Guy, you with me, guy?
It's not that much.
with me, guy?
It's not that much. Let's go over.
Josh Allen passing touchdowns 1.5.
I will take the over on that as well.
Yeah, I have no reason to believe that Josh Allen won't throw 2 touchdown passes today. I will go over.
Yeah, me too.
Ezekiel Elliott rushing yards 27.5.
I am also going over on this one. I saw a little something from Zeke last week, and if they follow Paul's key, to which he is wearing around his neck proudly,
yeah,
they will run the dang balls, and yeah, he'll go over easily.
I think this is hammer the over on this one. I like it. I'm going to take Ezekiel Elliott rushing yards over.
I don't love it, but I will take the over because the number is really low. So
right.
I got to think that he's going to get that.
I'm just guaranteeing you, I will be in opposition to at least one of you on this next one because we need some blood.
Okay.
We need
some
to
skin in the game.
Throw some chum in the water here.
Well, I know okay. Go ahead.
Get ready to put the Old Spice to the hanky because we're going to start chumming the waters here in a second.
Stephon Diggs receiving yards 83.5.
So he's been over 100 yards in 5 of the first 6 games, I believe. And with the New England's banged up secondary, I think he's unfortunately, I don't know what Buffalo's offense is going to look like today, but I feel pretty confident that Diggs and Allen are going to do some damage. So I'm going to go over on them.
I'm going to surprise Mike and take the under because I feel like the Patriots have really gone out of their way to make the other guys do it. So I think they'll continue to do that, and I'll take the under.
God bless you, Paul.
Yeah, thank God you went under because there's no way I was going under on this one. Okay. I am going over.
Total team points for the Patriots 14.5.
Paul?
I'm going to take the over. It's just a really, really low number. I have to take the over on that.
What do the Sharps know?
Nothing.
More than me, that's for sure.
The Vegas
That's
knows.
why I'm walking around with a tin cup in my hand.
Vegas knows nothing. You know, maybe if you would have worked together all those years ago, you wouldn't look like a guy with a cup in your hand, Jack. I'm going to go over 2.
Over. Yeah, I'll keep the positivity train rolling. I think they get a 17 or so. Yeah.
And the total score 40.5.
I'm going over on this in conjunction with my final score prediction, which I will give later.
You're all over, Hardy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with my earlier prediction, even though I have my positivity coming out of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony really made me feel like they had a chance today. But I'm gonna go over on this one.
Yeah, I think the over's going to hit too. I think that the Bills have enough on offense to get more than halfway there and drag the Patriots with them.
And it's not a big number.
It's not.
40.5.
40 is not a big number.
That is not a big total for the NFL. So, I
Agreed.
mean, we're just smart to go over on that point alone. All right. Very good. We'll get to the Sunday six-pack here in a few minutes. By the way, I want to thank the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts. No matter how you choose to make them, indoors, outdoors, scenic views, or city vibes, solo or family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. Back to the phones. We'll speak with Noah, who is in Toronto. Noah, thanks for being on the Patriots pregame fueled by Dunkin. What's up, Noah?
Hey, I'm sure you guys probably already mentioned this, but I just saw the Ian Rappaport report, and I was kind of wondering, like, is that mean Bill is not going to get fired this year, pretty much, or
that's the
message
message
on the table?
You know, at the very least, it puts into serious doubt my ongoing assertion that Bill, while I don't think he would be, could be fired during this season. I really don't think he will be now. After that, I think anything's on the table. I have trouble believing he signed to a multi-year extension as most of us, take that to mean. But I think it does put further into doubt that they would somehow part ways with him in the season.
Yeah. What bottom line, that might just be the biggest message takeaway from this is that it's not happening this year. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Noah,
It could still happen it could still happen in the off season, though.
Oh, sure. Yeah. A lot of stuff could happen then. Based on how this one goes, I mean, you come out of today with a loss. You're staring 1-7 in the face after your trip to Miami next week. At that point, you start doing like any kind of math you want to do. You're looking at maybe a 5-6 win season at best. So it's really tough to think about how this team moves forward with just everybody staying where they are and, sign a couple of guys and draft a couple of guys, same coach, same GM, same everything. It's tough to wrap your head around.
It's tough for messaging next offseason, too.
Yes. Rodrigo in Brazil, hello. Thanks for joining us. What's up?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling in.
A lot of fans talk about trading our best players at the trading deadline for picks. Do you guys agree with this line of thinking, or do you think we should keep the best players to start trading the rookies we draft?
I don't know. There's just not a lot there
It
to
depends.
think. It's hard to. I mean, I think one of the other callers said, "Would you be disappointed if they don't?" I'm not really. I'm not really expecting anything crazy.
I agree.
And maybe they're lucky to get a day 3 pick for somebody, but there's nobody sitting on their roster where it's like, oh, this is easy. Just swing him for a second rounder. Boom. I mean, of course you would consider it needing some young players to come in and make an impact, but. I don't know. I don't have high expectations for the trading deadline, and it seems like people out there are somehow under the impression that they're going to just trade 5 guys and get
right. And
picks.
it's a case by case thing. Like someone just asked us about Duggar, and I would be in favor of re-signing him and keeping him. I wouldn't want to trade him.
No.
But if it's a guy like Bourne or someone else who's in the last year of their like an Uche, I would be probably more willing to part ways. And I think those are some of the better players in the roster. I just don't think there are really any players in the roster that I feel are untouchable.
No.
Maybe with the possible exception of Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
The real
and Schooler
question becomes, I think, what do you end up getting for some of these guys? Let's say you were going to trade Duggar.
Here's Braves and Drew. Nice. Here's Drew. Hi, Drew.
I mean,
hey guy.
Hi, Drew.
Hey, Drew. Remember me? It's
hey,
Paul.
Drew.
That restraining order is expired. Don't worry.
Maybe a third, maybe a dream scenario, third for Duggar.
What do you think Mac would get?
Maybe a third.
I would say a fourth at most, because that's
right?
what Trey Lance got.
Yeah.
But my guess is that you would be selling Mac now at his lowest value.
Right.
0.0.
Like in the offseason, I think you could sort of paint, you sort of point to some sort of improvement or something and say, this is what he is, and we didn't put him in a good position, and he's better than that, and blah, 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 blah. But, right now?
No.
So, you first of all, it's hard to trade a quarterback at the deadline that you intend to play. Like, Garoppolo got traded at the deadline, but they didn't plug him right in. They waited. until he got up to speed on the offense. So,
like, what team could trade for Mac Jones and be like, he's going to step in, he's going to get us to the playoffs this year? Like, it's such a leap of faith. I don't know. That whole line of questioning, I feel like there's no way.
Yeah,
Mac's
and I
gonna
think
trade.
Mike's point about the day 3, I think you're looking at a day 3 pick for any trade that you make. The one guy that I think would have had some value is Judon.
Yep.
And he's not healthy.
And neither is really Uche right now. No,
Uche's hurt too.
So that's a hard thing to swing as well.
Rodrigo,
and Onwenu.
Thanks for the call, Rodrigo. Appreciate it.
That's basically the talk. And, we'll see. Like, upsets happen. The Patriots could knock off Buffalo today. And like I've been saying, like, I think Buffalo, I know there's a lot of talk about the volume on the Patriots injury report, but I think that's a little bit overblown. I think there's a lot of guys, like, I want to say there was 17 guys or 16 guys that were questionable. They're all playing.
Yep.
There's like one guy that was questionable that's not playing. Like, most of these guys are, banged up and whatever. Who isn't? Buffalo's got a lot of injuries too, and I think that they're concentrated in their run stuffers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's a problem for them. And I think if the Patriots sort of lean on them early in the game and have some success on a drive and get them behind.
Now, here's the problem.
Buffalo's playing in one of those games that they've sort of played in this year where, half and half.
Yep.
Right.
Now, I think Buffalo would probably still win the game, but it might be more competitive than the spread would indicate.
So you make a lot of sense, Paul.
I try to.
And this is essentially the type of situation that the Patriots were facing a couple of weeks ago with New Orleans. Now, that was specifically to the third down defense that New Orleans had showed in their first 4 games.
Your stat of all stats.
But my God, we just saw it right away. It's like, okay, you're in a third and short situation. You know what to do here. You run the ball against the Saints, and they ran it. They ran it twice on a second and gettable, and then on a third and gettable situation, just to start the game. Like, so when there's something obviously there right in front of you, and you say, well, the Patriots should do this today. And again, in the past, if the Patriots looked like they should do something, you could count on Bill Belichick to do the opposite. Mm-hmm. Chess. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, they are expecting us to run the ball today because they're missing run stuffers due to injury. So instead,
spread them out.
I was doing a lot of that the other night at my son's high school game.
Yeah.
When we refused to throw the ball in overtime, checkers. Except for it didn't work.
And you were not coaching.
No, I wasn't. Of course not.
Have you ever coached football?
Yeah, actually I did, but not. That's probably the sport I've coached the least.
Okay.
I coached middle school football at Wellesley High School.
Oh, all right.
Like in the early 90s.
I tell you what, Paul Perillo, hell of a baseball coach, to the point where one of his former players, some 20-plus years later, came up to him at a golf course and said, Coach, and just looked at him adoringly and just, heaped praise upon him.
And it was kind of like the Big Cat story that Bill told about Dante, because I was looking up at him. Like, the kid's enormous. He's probably like, 6'3", 6'4"?
And no kid, the guy's in his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
good guy. Brad Godfrey.
Oh, it was a nice moment, and I was happy to share it with you.
Great kid.
Okay.
Brad.
You want to do the 6-pack? Let's do it.
This is the Sunday 6-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday 6-pack.
All right, what happened last week in our picks? I believe we had a 6-pack last week.
We did. Mike went 4-2. Paul and Hardy 3-3, bringing the season totals to Mike 21-9-2. Paul and Hardy 15-15-2.
21-9-2 is a good record.
That's really, really nice. Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
I mean, we're kind of all kind of blah on the over-unders, but Mike is really doing well.
Right.
Somehow I'm like still in the middle of the pack on the PU picks.
Maybe if we just did these 6 games, you'd be doing better.
I guess.
I also would do better if I didn't change my picks unwittingly.
I think I do the same.
I'm giving myself an honorary L to start the week for taking and telling other people to take Michigan State plus 25.5 last night. Do it. Throw the records out.
Did you
Rivalry
really?
game. Oh, yeah. I was all over it. All over.
That doesn't sound like a Hardy
Get him started.
Piece of advice. You're always expecting the worst.
Michigan State plus 25.5 in East Lansing.
Yeah, but
Bet the house, I told people.
But with everything that's going on with Michigan State right now,
it was a get-right game.
It certainly was. Oh, wait. Mike.
Just real quick. Left to right, offensive line warm-ups. Brown, Strange, Andrews, City So at right guard. Mike Onwenu at right tackle.
I'm looking at it right there.
Okay.
We were just
Mike Onwenu at right tackle.
So maybe
Here
a
we
little
go.
bit of a move.
Here we go. I'm not saying
Boom.
this guy. I'm just saying.
We got a guy.
And there's Demario Douglas.
Pop Shata. Pop Shata.
All right.
All right, what do we got?
All right, 5-1 Detroit Lions at the 4-2 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore -3.
Hardy, I hate to do it. I love the Lions. I love what they've been doing. I hate having to pick against them here, but I think Buffalo's going to get up for this game, and I like Lamar, so I'm gonna take Baltimore.
Not Buffalo, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this is a big game, I think, for your Lions, Hardy, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna show some faith in Dan Campbell and your boys. I'm gonna take Detroit outright on the road.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they've played better.
This really makes me nervous. Deuce, who is 21-9-2 against the spread.
I don't want to do that to you. I feel bad. Now.
I feel bad too
because I try to catch him somehow.
Forget about what Vegas knows. What does Deuce know? But I'm not picking against the Lions. Getting points? Are you crazy? Restore the roar, ride the pride. Taking the Lions +3.
The 3-2 Cleveland Browns at the 3-3 Indianapolis Colts. Cleveland -3.
So I was a little worried about Cleveland's mindset heading into this game because of their big win last week, but it looks like they're getting Deshaun Watson back, who wasn't part of that win last week, so I think that helps. I will take Cleveland to keep it going.
Now, I don't know how much Deshaun Watson helps, but I'll still take Cleveland with you, Paul.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on Cleveland.
They had a practice squad guy play quarterback last week.
Moving on to the 4 p.m. games, the 1-5 Arizona Cardinals at the 3-2 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle -7.5.
Oh, that's a big number. That is a big, big number.
And
I'm still taking Seattle though. I think Seattle can win this by 10.
Yeah,
where are we?
It is a big number. I struggle. Divisional game in Seattle. I think Cardinals are make it tighter, but I'm going to go with Seattle. I'll lay the points.
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle, too. I'm a little worried about some of the injuries the Seahawks have. I know DK Metcalf is questionable. Will be a game-time decision, but I think at home, I think Arizona's sort of starting to fade a little bit, and I'm going to go with that continuing.
The 2-3 Los Angeles Chargers at the 5-1 Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City -5.5.
Back to you, Deuce.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with T Swift and the Chiefs. I think they'll do enough to dispatch their AFC West rivals.
As Fred likes to say on Thursdays, folks, this is your upset special. I'll take the Lack outright. They play very well in Kansas City.
Kansas City not looking great. I don't like laying 5.5 with the Chiefs right now. I'm going to go with you, Paul. I'll take the Chargers.
Sunday Night Football, the 5-1 Miami Dolphins at the 5-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Philly -2.5.
I love this game.
I love it.
I'm looking forward to getting
So
home
fun.
at a reasonable hour for a change. We haven't had many of those. Nice 1 o'clock game today. I am going to take Miami. I think I took Philly on Thursday, Mike. This is how I get in these holes. I changed my pick for no apparent reason. I just feel Miami today.
Wow.
I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Well, I heard you earlier in the week, and you convinced me, so I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going
Did
to take the Eagles. That was part of my take development of Miami. Real tough at home. How they going to do? A little fall weather. I don't even know if it's going to be windy or whatever down in Philadelphia. But I got Philly.
I'm also trying to envision a scenario where the Dolphins get beat tonight and they're good and pissed off, waiting at home all next week for the Patriots to come to town.
Oh, no.
And just dreading that.
I don't like that.
All right, but you're taking Miami.
No, I'm taking Philly. Philly. Yeah, give me Philly.
Oh,
So you guys both took
Philly,
the Eagles.
Philly.
I have
Okay.
I have a chance to make up some ground this week, or fall more hopelessly behind.
And finally, the 4-2 Buffalo Bills at the 1-5 New England Patriots. Buffalo -8.5.
I do not think the Bills win by 30 today, but I also do not think it is a 16-8 type of score. However, if it were, the Patriots would cover.
Correct.
And I think they are going to cover by a score of 28-21 Bills.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm going to stick with what I've been saying, although, again, little positive, just positive vibes from yesterday. I don't know if it matters for anything. It doesn't, but I'm going to still take the Bills 31-17. I picture like 24-17 in the fourth, and then they, put the drive together and get that last touchdown to really put it away.
Yeah, I don't think that the Bills are going to come in here and roll up and down the field because I just don't think their offense has been that sharp for the most part. When they've had the high-scoring games, it's been helped by the defense, and right now I don't think the defense is equipped to give that kind of help. But I also think it's good enough to keep the Patriots at bay. And I think Buffalo does cover this game. I'll take Buffalo. I'm going to say 27-16.
Wow.
It's a good score.
Okay. What was your final there, Deuce?
31-17.
Okay. All right. I'm the only one taking the Pats plus 8.5.
You are.
You're a fan.
All right. Well, yeah. You know what?
Fanboy.
I mean, you took Michigan State yesterday. We all know what happened in that game. Actually, no one does.
I don't think anybody was watching. I mean, just based on I had a couple of Michigan State buddies that I was tweeting back and forth with, and or texting back and forth with, and that was it. Like no other chatter about that game online. It was. I mean, it wasn't a game. It was over in the second quarter.
You know what else happens to me, and this is pretty stupid in this day and age where you just like voice control, like the remote. Like I click back and forth a lot between 8:05 is ABC, 8:06 is Fox. There was two good games on there. It was Florida State Duke and Utah USC. They were both really good games last night. Then you go to ESPN's and you got all kinds of games there.
Right.
Well, the Michigan State game was on NBC, which is 8:10. It's way over there. Like I don't just like stumble on that.
Yeah.
And it was like the third quarter before I even realized that game was on TV.
Xfinity?
Yeah. I know. You just have
the last. No, you don't even talk into it. It's the last button, and then it brings up like the last 6 channels down there at the bottom.
And that's what I use, Hardy. But NBC being at 8:10 is so out of my during the day, I have like CBS, ABC, Fox, ESPN, ESPN2, and like all these channels are all in the lasts. Because there's no real games on NBC. They probably have Premier League soccer on during the day.
I watch some of that.
That I don't have any interest in, and it's just not in my rotation. It's
do
never in my last group of rotation.
I do find it funny though. Like I had
it's so stupid. I agree.
I had Good Morning America on this morning just for, just give me a little network news. Anybody, CNN, Fox, I don't care, right? Just tell I want to know if the world ended last night, and for that. Sorry, Boston, I don't trust the local news to let me know if the world ended. So I turn on just whatever national thing is on, and it's so painfully obvious what the networks have sports-wise because they said, here's what's happening in the Gaza Strip. Here's what's happening. And in sports, so-and-so losing the pole position for today's Formula One race in Austin and a preview of Monday Night Football. I'm like, who's thinking about Monday Night Football tonight or today?
Tonight,
yeah.
Like Minnesota Monday night. Like who cares about the Formula One in Austin? Oh,
yeah.
And then I look ahead on the guide. It's Formula One on ABC this afternoon, and of course Monday Night Football tomorrow night. So they're just ignoring the biggest, sports day of the week for the rest of America by focusing in on open wheel and Monday Night Football.
Plus, they jam it down your throat that you're supposed to have been waiting all day for Monday night. I'm not really.
Well, that's the NBC thing, waiting all day for Sunday night.
Yeah,
but tonight
I'm actually not waiting. I'm watching the games earlier. I'm fine watching the games. I'm not waiting for the game.
Tonight's Sunday night game though.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Right. I hope this one pans out because 2 weeks ago you had a good matchup and that didn't pan out with San Francisco and Dallas.
No.
Hopefully this one will pan out.
All right, final thoughts before we get into the kickoff here, which will be happening at 1 o'clock at Gillette Stadium. Beautiful day, windy day as the Bills visit the Patriots. Deuce?
Again, love to see just a good start from the Patriots, get off on the right foot. Mentioned Marty Mapu. Can he get involved somehow against this Bills offense that certainly wants to play a certain style of football? So I think Mapu could be useful. When they drafted him, this was the kind of guy. Just would love to see him involved. But I think my biggest question is just no Uche, no Judon. Where does the pass rush come from today? How do they get to Josh Allen? How do they get him out of the pocket? How do they bring him down? What's kind of the plan as far as that? The Patriots are really shorthanded as far as pass rushers. I just don't think they can afford to let Josh Allen sit back there, have his way with them. So gotta find a way to get after him.
Paul, what do you think?
Well, I think that Mike is right about the need to get after Josh Allen and not let him get comfortable and just because he'll take it. I think he's proven – the last few times that they've gone against the Patriots, he's proven that he's more than content to take the short stuff and the long way downfield. So they need to get after him a little bit, but I think it gets back to the reason why I'm holding the key, boys. Yeah. You gotta be physical up front. I like the idea of a Wenyu at right tackle. I think that is the best 5 right now because I think Vidarian Lowe was not as good as City So. And hopefully those guys can stay healthy and Strange and Wenyu can go wire to wire and you run the ball today. I think that's the best way to stay in the game.
All right, we'll find out if any of that comes to fruition in the post game. You're encouraged to join us then, as we will be here right after the game is done today at Gillette Stadium. The Bills in town to play the Patriots. We'll talk to you in the Patriots postgame. By the way, thank you to Dom Sausage, official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Order them online. Nationwide delivery, domsausage.com. Promo code PATS15 for 15% off. Promo code PATS15. We'll talk to you in the postgame. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.